Hi friends! So today we are doing another Pinterest tested recipe. We're actually doing two today and we're going with a Mexican theme. So we are doing mini pepper nachos. You can find the full recipe either at my Pinterest page on the Pinterest tested board, or you can find the recipe on alldayidreamaboutfood.com. And then we are also going to make tableside guacamole. And you can also find that recipe on my Pinterest board under Pinterest Tested, or you can find that at food.com. So let's get started on the mini pepper nachos. So I started by making my ground turkey ahead of time. I chose to go ground turkey instead of ground beef, but you can absolutely go ground beef if you wanted to. I just wanted to do a little bit healthier if I could. And you're going to take your ground turkey and put it into your mini peppers. So the mini peppers, you just slice them in half, clear out the middle. There's not really a lot in the middle of mini peppers. A few seeds here and there, but not a lot to deal with like regular sized peppers, so that was really awesome. It took no time at all to get those together. So I'm just going to start dishing out the seasoned ground turkey into the chips, as it were. And I'm just trying to give a little bit to each half of the pepper. So the main goal of this recipe is to take away the chip to make it a little bit healthier and to kind of cut down on the carb of the chip. We'll see how it goes after you put the ingredients on and then you start to try to eat it, if it's going to be chip-like. Oh, thank you for sharing. So we're just filling up each half with some ground turkey, and what the recipe called for was a pound of ground beef or ground turkey and then a pound of mini peppers. And what I was thinking of, not that I don't want this to work, but if for some reason it wouldn't work, this would be perfect to roll up in a tortilla. But cross your fingers and your toes that this will come out right. I'm crossing my fingers, and my dog that's standing right below me is crossing his fingers that I drop some of this ground turkey. Alright, so it looks like I've come up with a little bit more meat than peppers. Got one little guy that's empty here, so we'll fill him up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pile the meat across the top, and we're going to hope for the best on that. It seems like that this is more of like just a big, like those big platters you get when you go to the Mexican restaurant. That's what this recipe reminds me of. So we're just going to treat it as like a huge plate of nachos. So after that, we are going to sprinkle some cheese on top. I went for sharp cheddar because that's my favorite. Obviously, do whatever you like. They did suggest lining your sheet pan with aluminum foil, which I think is an awesome idea, but I ran out. So I know I'm going to regret that later when I'm cleaning this pan. Alright, plenty of cheese on there, and we're going to pop this into the oven. They said 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go for 5 and see how that looks. Alright, set our timer. And while that is going in the oven, we are going to make tableside guacamole. which I'm super excited about. So I found this recipe via Pinterest on food.com. So I have 4 Hass avocados here, and I just kind of sliced them, and they're in this bowl. And they say to just go through and mash, but not over mash, because you want the table side to be still chunky, but not like you just took the avocado and threw it in there. I know, guacamole. I mean, I could probably just eat this as my meal tonight. My smallest dog is just sitting here at my feet looking up at me, wishing I would just drop this bowl so that he could eat it up. So I'm just going through, getting kind of like the biggest chunks out. Like I said, I wanted to still have like a significant amount of chunks, just not those huge, huge avocado chunks. More like a mash, I guess, but not completely smashed to bits. So this is kind of what I'm going to go with. All right, so the next thing, we're going to take a half of lime and just squeeze that over the top, to give it that little bit of lime flavor, but also to help keep the color of the avocados, because, I mean, if you've ever had an avocado and you sliced it, you know how fast it will go brown. So I'm going to give that a quick little stir in. Alright. And then to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of minced garlic. And I won't lie, I buy the pre-minced garlic now that I know that it exists. So I want to say my nanny told me about that. Thank you, Nanny. This has been the greatest thing ever. So mix that in. And this smells just, I mean, amazing. All right, now that we've got that, I have my choice materials here. I have onion diced up, tomatoes diced up, and then I also have a full jalapeno diced up. I took the seeds out of mine. They opted for just a teaspoon of jalapeno, but I figured if I'm taking the seeds out, I can do a whole jalapeno because it's not really that spicy anymore, so I don't know. Use your own discretion, I guess. So, dumping that one in. I don't think I'm going to use all these tomatoes, but I am going to use quite a bit. Dumping those guys in. Give this a mix before I add those onions. That's starting to look awesome. And again, not using all these onions because then nobody would want to talk to me for the next 3 weeks. So dumping those onions in. Looks like we're about to hit that last minute on our oven. Perfect timing. Get those onions mixed in. I think we're going to hit this with some salt and pepper, and we should be good to go. So, get a salt, get a little pepper, give that a quick mix. And that looks outstanding, if I do say so myself. Alright, so we just hit that 5-minute mark. Let's see how this looks. Oh, this looks fantastic. So I'm going to pull these out. I think 5 minutes is the perfect, because I think those peppers will still be just enough crisp that they'll hold, but also everything will be cooked together enough. So I chose for my toppings the Tableside Guacamole, and I'm just going to put a little dollop of that on top of one of these that I can kind of grab. We'll get this guy. See if we can't use this as a little. There we go. Put that on top. Let him cool down for just a second so I don't burn my mouth off. But I mean, let's see if I can. This is what it looks like. It looks awesome. It smells awesome. I'm sad that you guys can't smell it because it smells amazing. I was really worried that the peppers wouldn't hold up to the weight of anything on there, but I think 5 minutes was probably the perfect time before peppers start to get that little bit of mushiness whenever you're roasting them. So I think that worked out perfect. And yeah, it's just basically like nachos. Add whatever toppings you want, because, I mean, really, sky's the limit here. What do you put on nachos? Everything, right? So, Tableside Guacamole, though, I don't know. That might have stole the show for me, because that was outstanding. And there's no sour cream in it, which I just can't get over. So, yeah. It's a toss-up here on what I like better, but it might be the Tableside Guacamole. So, thank you for joining me, guys. As always, everything will be on my Pinterest board, and it tasted delish, I won't lie. Everything will be on my Pinterest board under Pinterest Tested, and I will be uploading this to YouTube, where I always link the recipe at the bottom of that. And as always, thank you for tuning in, and happy treats, everyone!